Well, thanks for joining me on Purpose Bound Adventures. I just wanted to take a minute and kind of go over my weapon of choice this year for bow hunting. Just a quick backdrop. I got this bow, actually was given to me by a friend a couple years ago, and I bought the quiver, the sights, the rest, stabilizer. I bought all that, put it on, but this is a Obsessions bow, and it's a really nice bow, super smooth, very quiet, and so I set it all up. There was an issue with it that I was concerned about, and so I didn't really use it last year because I was trying to actually get it fixed, and yet I couldn't get a hold of Obsessions to take care of it for me. But this year I found a dealer that was about an hour from me, took it to him, he looked it over, he found out what was going on, and he fixed it, and so the bow is literally ready to go. There's only one problem with the fact that this bow is ready to go. I can't pull it. I've got either a partial torn rotator cuff or something's wrong with my shoulder, and I know what happened. I was actually playing goalie for my daughter's practice one day for playoffs, getting ready for playoffs back end of May, I think, or maybe even early June. It might have been early June. No, it was end of May. And basically semi-near the end of the game, I dove for a ball and reached out my left, and when I hit, I felt something pull on my shoulder. Didn't feel terrible, but I didn't think tons about it. So I finished playing the game. We fooled around a little bit after with kicking the balls and things like that, and playing goalie. But by that night, I could barely move my arm. And so I was pretty concerned about it, but I thought, you know what, I'll just give it some time. And so I've given it, well, I don't know, 3 months. What is it? June, July, August, September. I've given it 3 months. So I've given it 3 months, and it's gotten quite a bit better. You can see I have lots of movement, rotation. I can feel it, but it doesn't really hurt that bad. But the moment I start to put pressure on it, weight like this, and then start resisting, it just feels like it's about ready to give out. So I'm getting ready to go into the deer season, and I don't have a bow. And the one that I was really hoping to use, I can't even pull the thing back. Now maybe I could lower it to like 60 pounds. I think it's close to 70. That might help, and so I may give that a try to see if I can do that, because I really still want to get some bucks with this. But in the meantime, until I kind of figure this out, I do have an alternative. I've got this guy. This is a Raven crossbow, and it's not mine, it's my brother's. He lives in New York, and I don't think you can even use them in New York, and he actually won this at a wild game dinner. And so last year I was having some issues with same arm, different issue, and he said, hey, why don't you use my crossbow? So he brought it, and I actually used it for one evening hunt and one morning hunt in Ohio, and there's actually a video, you can watch it up here. And then I ended up using my bow the rest of the season. I ended up shooting a buck with my bow. But at the spot that I'm at right now, I just can't pull the bow, so I have to have an alternative. And so I asked him again, said, hey, do you mind if I use this crossbow? And he said, no problem at all. So this is now at least for now, this is my weapon of choice, where I am going to be using this bow to hunt this year. Now, I just want to say up front, I know there's a lot of arguments over crossbows. I don't have any issue with anybody using a crossbow, whether it's they're doing it for an injury or they're not doing it for an injury. I just don't care. If it's legal and somebody wants to use a crossbow, I couldn't care less. Last year when I pulled up to the parking spot in Ohio, 6 guys got out of 2 or 3 different vehicles. Every one of them had a crossbow, and off they went hunting. I don't really care. But I do want to stress and say that I am fully aware, from my perspective, and even having used this and shot this a few times, a crossbow, from my perspective, is nowhere near the same as a compound bow. This thing is a arrow shooting rifle. It's ridiculous. In fact, the first time I shot it, I shot it 20 yards, dead center bullseye. And then the second time I shot it, dead center bullseye. And my understanding is, if I read this correctly, and I'm pretty sure I did because I checked a couple times, I believe up to 70 yards, this is as accurate as a rifle. And at like 100 yards, it's within like a ½ inch of a rifle. So I'm fully aware I'm not using a compound bow. And if I get a nice big old buck with this crossbow, I'm not going to be gloating like I did the same thing as somebody that would shoot one with a compound bow any more than I would do it with a compound bow as if somebody shot one with a traditional bow. They're just very different. And the farther down you go, the harder it gets. So I'm fully aware what this weapon is, but I want to hunt. I like to shoot bucks, and so this is it. And I just kind of actually want to do a little video making you aware of that, so you're not wondering why in the world am I using a crossbow instead of a compound bow. Again, I really don't care if people use crossbows just because that's what they want to do. It doesn't bother me. And now here I am with a bum shoulder that I won't be able to use my compound bow, so I have to use a crossbow. So anyway, this is my weapon for bow season as of right now. I am going to mess around with my bow and see if maybe by lowering it to like 60, I can do that and not have any real issues. But the last thing I want to do is be out there trying to pull my bow on a big buck and I can't pull it, or I pull it and my shoulder goes out, something. So this is it. So you're going to see me hunting with this for the foreseeable future, and hopefully after the season I can get this checked out and either get it fixed, or maybe it's just a matter of therapy and that'll take care of it. But anyway, just wanted to show you what the plan is for a weapon for bow season this year, and hopefully your season's going to be a successful one, and I wish you the best of success. Thanks for watching.